Madam Chair, members of the committee rules are the standard Senate interim committee rules with the addition of the 21-day provision applicable to executive appointments. So they're identical to what you're used to working with.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I move to adopt the proposed committee rules dated September 16th, 2019.
Senator Boquist has moved to adopt the proposed committee rules dated September 16th, 2019. Is there any discussion? Any objection? So ordered. Okay, now we will open a public hearing and work session for the purpose of hearing appointments and reappointments to state boards and commissions. We will start off with the public hearing on the residential and manufactured structures. No, wait a minute. Structures Board. Richard Fry will join us by phone. Hi, is this Richard Fry?
It is.
Hi, I'm Ginny Burdick. I'm chair of the Senate Rules Committee, and I'm joined by our committee members. So welcome to the committee. If you could just give us your name and a brief statement about why you want to serve on this board.
Good morning, Madam Chair Berkey and members of the Senate Rules Committee. My name is Rich Fry. I'm honored to be considered for appointment to the Residential and Manufacturing Structures Board. I've been a builder and developer for over 25 years and have served 8 years on the City of Salem Planning Commission, 4 of those as the chair, and on the Capital Planning Commission for an additional 2 years, and countless other boards and committees. As you have copies of my resume, I will keep my time short and answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the committee?
Thank you for volunteering.
Seeing no questions, we will thank you for your interest, and thank you very much. Now,
thank you.
Okay, now then our next appointee is the Director of Affirmative Action, Sophorn Chiang. I hope I pronounced your name right, but I probably didn't.
You did it right.
Well enough.
Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair Burdick and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Sophorn Chiang. I was born and raised in Cambodia and immigrated to Oregon in late 2000. With family and community support, I had the privilege of graduating from college and furthering my degree and my education, and eventually earned a master's degree in business administration from Willamette University. Where I am today would not be possible without the support, guidance, and wisdom from my parents, respected role models, teachers, and community leaders that have blessed my path, as well as programs that have promoted equity in the workplace. For more than a decade, I have dedicated my personal and professional career to promoting wellness, equity, racial and social justice through education, advocacy, collaboration, community engagement, and empowerment for immigrant and refugee communities, as well as communities of color. Currently, I am the Director of the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Office of Governor Kate Brown. Our office is charged to work with state agencies and diverse community across the state to make Oregon a place where everyone has an opportunity to thrive. To achieve Governor Kate Brown's vision to move Oregon forward, our office works closely with the governor's policy offices, state agencies, and community partners to create and implement policies that reflect the diverse experiences and needs of all Oregonians. Thank you for your consideration of my confirmation to be the Director of Affirmative Action in the Office of the Governor, so we can continue to implement and advance our workforce equity through the success of all equal employment opportunities and affirmative action programs in our state agencies. And I can take any questions.
Questions from the committee?
No, ma'am.
Seeing none, thank you for your willingness to serve.
Thank you, chairs and members.
Okay, next we have the Appraiser Certification and Licensure Board, Eric Gerhardt. All right, whose phone is that?
Okay, thank you, Chair Burdick and Senators. My name is Eric Gerhardt, and I'm a nominee for the Appraiser Certification and Licensure Board. I live in McMinnville, Oregon, but work in Salem as the Chief Lending Officer of Willamette Valley Bank. I feel as a citizen, it's my duty to serve the community when opportunities arise. With over 25 years of commercial banking experience, I've worked with appraisals in great detail and believe I could be an asset to the board and also learn more information for my self and career. And thank you for any consideration. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Questions from the committee?
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you. Next, we have Dr. Catherine Kolonik from by phone for the Long-Term Care Administrators Board.
Hello, this is Dr. Kolanich.
Hi, this is Jenny Burdick, Chair of the Rules Committee, and I'm joined by our committee members, Senator Brian Boquist and Senator Michael Dembro. If you could give your name and a brief statement of why you want to serve on this board.
Sure. First of all, thank you for taking my call. I'm at the Phoenix Airport, so if it's hard to hear me, let me know, and I'll try to find a different place that's a little bit more conducive to our conversation.
You're coming through very well.
Catherine Kolanich. I'm sorry?
You're coming through very well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. My name is Dr. Catherine Kolanich. I'm a sixth-generation Native Oregonian. I've been a physician for 10 years. For the last 7, I've been in Oregon. We moved back to Milwaukee, where I grew up, to raise our family. And 5 of those years, I worked in primary care. The last 2, I worked in long-term care. I worked for Marquee Companies, which is a large long-term care company in Oregon, as you may know. And their CEO is who kind of brought this idea to me that there is a position available for a physician on the Long-Term Care Administrators Board. As I've learned this role that I fill for the company as Chief Medical Officer, I've also been interested in the general policies and procedures around what we do. This seems like a good opportunity to spend some time getting to know that piece better for myself, but also to serve a bit. I'm on the board of the Oregon Academy of Family Physicians, and I'm the president of their foundation board. So I understand how those boards work in a private setting, but I'm looking forward to learning a bit more about how that works on the government level, especially at home in Oregon.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the committee?
No, ma'am.
Seeing no questions, thank you for being willing to serve.
Enjoy your flight.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, next, the Behavior Analysis Regulatory Board. We have Samantha Parnham and Corey Stump. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, first, do you want me to go? I'll go first.
All right.
Good morning, Chair Burdick, Senators, and members of the Committee on Rules. Thank you for having me today. My name is Corey Stump of Portland, Oregon, and I am a nominee for the Behavior Analysis Regulatory Board. I'm a clinical director for Applied Behavior Analysis Services for children affected by autism spectrum disorder. I also teach ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis, at the Oregon State University in the College of Psychological Science. Currently, I also serve as a commissioner for the Oregon Commission on Autism Spectrum Disorder, and with the opportunity to serve on the Behavior Analysis Regulatory Board, I look forward to serving the state of Oregon to ensure quality and ethical practices. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Burdick, Senators, and members of the Committee on Rules. My name is Samantha Parnham, and I currently live in Almsville. I've been in Oregon for about 3.5 years now. I appreciate the opportunity to participate in today's hearing regarding the appointments to the Behavior Analysis Regulatory Board. I am a board-certified behavior analyst and a licensed behavior analyst here in the state of Oregon. I'm also the Chief Clinical Officer for Adventures with Autism, which is an ABA agency based in Kaiser. And I'm passionate about disseminating our science and ensuring that the public has access to quality ABA services. Again, thank you for this opportunity, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. Questions from the committee?
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, we have the State Board of Denture Technology, Clayton Reese and Grant Smith.
Good morning, Chair Burdick and Senators of the Rules Committee and staff. I'm grateful to be here this morning for this nomination and hearing. I am an appointee for the Denture Technology Board. My name is Clayton Rees, and I'm appearing before you as a nominee for this position. I became aware of this position through an acquaintance who suggested I apply, but I'm also applying because I enjoy serving people. My wife and I currently reside in a small hamlet of Beaver, south of Tillamook. We have lived at this location for 22 years, and we own and operate a 70-acre horse ranch. And prior to living there, I lived in Rockaway Beach for 17 years. In the past 39 years, I've served my community as an elected member of the Rockaway Beach City Council, appointed to the Tillamook County Workforce Advisory Board, appointed member of the Tillamook County Fair Board. I also volunteered at the fair each season for 20 years. Volunteer member of the Tillamook Family Counseling Center, which I also chaired for 2 years. I'm an elected member of the Tillamook County Emergency Communications Board. I'm in my second term, and I currently serve as vice chair. I'm a court-qualified mediator with the Tillamook County Justice Court System. I was appointed as a member of the Tillamook County Commission on Children and Families and currently serve as an appointed member of the Tillamook County Community Health Center's Health Council. My wife and I are active in local 4-H programs, and we facilitate an addiction recovery program on Thursday nights. On a statewide basis, I was an invited member of the Oregon Department of Education State Advisory Council for Special Education and co-chaired that council for a year. My education has afforded me opportunities to serve as graduate teaching assistant in the Department of Psychology at Portland State University, where I also hold a dual degree in public and health administration from the School of Urban and Public Affairs. I was adjunct faculty with Western Oregon University, and I am currently an invited member of the Western Oregon University Curriculum Advisory Committee for the College of Education Graduate Program in Rehabilitation and Mental Health Counseling. I have experience in the medical field as an employment manager for St. Vincent Hospital Medical Center, and I was administrator of a medical clinic of internists and pediatricians. As a self-employed HR consultant, I have provided services to private, public, and not-for-profit organizations. If confirmed, I would look forward to serving the citizens of Oregon in a capacity where my education, work, and volunteer experience could be of value. Thank you.
My name is Grant Smith. I am a nominee for the Board of Denture Technology. I started working in my father's dental laboratory in 1979, and in 1983, he died in a car wreck. I ended up at 20 years old with my father's dental laboratory, operated that for 8 years, moved to Eugene, where I worked in the dental laboratory for some continuing years, found an opportunity to go to school to work in independent practice. I was educated at George Brown College in Toronto. I've been a licensed denturist since 2005. I'm presently on the board of the Oregon State Denturist Association, where I serve on the legislative committee. It came to my attention at a board meeting that there were vacancies on the board of Denture Technology, and it was suggested that I apply for the position, so I agreed to pursue that. We're a relatively small group in the state of Oregon, and a few people have carried a lot of the load, and I just feel like we all have to do our part. So it's my turn to step up and do mine, and I'd answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Dembro.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. Thank you both very much for stepping up to do this. Mr. Smith, your interest is obvious, given your profession. Mr. Rees, I'm curious, what drew you to this particular form of service? Why this board? You'll be an at-large member representing the citizenry.
Yes, thank you, Senator Dembro. I have an acquaintance who is currently a practicing denturist, and he suggested I apply for this position. I'm on the State Rehabilitation Council right now, and it was a governor-appointed position, and I'm in my 6th year, which is the final year of that, so I was running out of things to do.
No, I'm thinking of some other things as well. Thank you very much.
I was going to say,
And I would just say that this is a position that's been coveted and really hard to find somebody to step forward and do this, and so we really appreciate it.
I must say, after hearing your testimony, I always thought I was a busy person until I just heard you testify. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Christine Morales from the State Board of Direct Entry Midwifery.
Hi, good morning. My name is Christine Morales. I'm the lead certified nurse midwife at Salem Hospital. I've worked for Salem Health Medical Group for the past 6 years. I've been a midwife for 11 years. I serve on several committees at the hospital, including the OB peer review committee, the outpatient peer review committee, the medical staff resiliency committee, and medical staff engagement. I have lived here in Oregon with my husband and 2 sons for the past 6 years, moved here from Colorado where I completed my graduate training and my doctorate in nursing practice in Colorado. I care very much about maternal health outcomes and improving outcomes for moms and babies in Oregon and in the nation, and hope that my ability to be on this committee will help me to do that. And I appreciate the time today, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Other questions from the committee?
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have the State Board of Education, Jennifer Skurlock and Bridget Wheeler. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair Burdick and members of the Rules and Executive Appointments Committee. For the record, my name is Jennifer Skurlock, and I am the nominee for the State Board of Education. It is truly an honor to be here with all of you today, and I want to thank the legislature for passing House Bill 2512 to fill the gap in representation for certified teachers. I want to thank Governor Brown for her faith in my ability to serve in this capacity. And I want to thank the 44,000 educator voices whose expertise is so important as the state board considers education policies. I was born and raised in Eugene, Oregon, and completed my master's degree in educational leadership and development. I've been a teacher in Oregon's public schools for over 16 years, and I currently teach AP English and English 11 at Churchill High School in Eugene. I'm a board member for Oregon Education Association and the National Education Association. I also serve as a Minority Affairs Director for Eugene Education Association. I've been married to my loving and supportive husband, John Skurlock, for 22 years, and we have 2 beautiful children, Donovan and Michaela. For the last 3 years, I've been leading community conversations through symposiums with high school students in the Eugene area on equity and racial justice. Engaging in these important conversations has provided opportunities for a community of educators to lift student voices on issues that directly impact them, both in and outside of the classroom. Today, in this moment, I proudly stand on the shoulders of my beautiful mother, who has passed away, Ernestine Broaddus, and my wonderful father, Leon Broaddus Jr., both who worked hard to raise me and my siblings with love, dignity, and respect. And today I proudly stand on the shoulders of educators who are committed to their students, their schools, and their communities. Thank you, Chair Burdick and members of the Rules and Executive Appointments Committee for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Got a fan club out there.
It's a hard one to follow.
Welcome.
Good morning, Chair Burdick and the members of the Senate Committee on Rules. For the record, my name is Bridget Wheeler, and it's an honor to be here today as a nominee for the State Board of Education. I'm a lifelong resident of Southwest Oregon, District 5, and an enrolled member of the Coquille Indian Tribe. I currently live in Myrtle Point, Oregon with my husband and my 4 children. I have a daughter heading off to OSU in the fall. I have a senior, and I have twin boys entering 3rd grade this year. I've been employed with the Coquitlam Indian Tribe for 19 years. My most current position is the Director of the Culture and Education Programs. Within the tribe, within my 19 years of the tribe, I've worked in the Child Welfare Division under the Indian Child Welfare Act for 10 years. I supervise the Head Start programs. I also supervise and work with the Tribal Historic Preservation Office. I've been honored to be able to work on recent projects such as Senate Bill 13, Tribal History and Shared History, and as a representative on the Oregon Department of Education's Advisory Committee on Safe and Effective Classrooms. I have a strong passion for Oregon's youth, in particular those that are underrepresented. I appreciate your consideration for the State Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Senator Dimbrell.
Just a comment as someone who sat at that table for a few years. My heart goes out to both of you. No, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's very interesting work.
Thank you.
Does your fan club rent out?
Thank you. I do have a lovely group of supporters.
Thank you. Okay, next we have the Oregon Educators Benefit Board, Benita Luisi.
My name is Benita Luisi. Thank you, Chair Burdick and Senators. I go by Bonnie. Benita's on my driver's license in the state police, and my mother called me that when I'm in trouble. So Bonnie or Bon is normally what they call me. I am from Hermiston, Oregon, and I'm asking to be appointed to the district board position with OEBB. I am currently serving my third year as a Hermiston School Board member. I was appointed as someone left the board, and then last year was elected to a 4-year term. Previous to that, I had worked in the Hermiston School District for 22 years as a classified school employee, and I basically did all things special ed and behavior. I worked from a classroom assistant to the behavior program, and then to the district office where I took care of all the state reports that were due for funding for our special ed population. As a classified school employee, I was a member of Oregon School Employees Association and was a negotiator for our group for many years, and a large part of that negotiation is insurance benefits. And so I'm well versed in OEBB and Blue Cross before that, and as a former cancer survivor, I know the ins and outs of using the insurance, and I also have lots of board experience, as I served on the state board for Oregon School Employees for almost 20 years. 2 years as state president. Don't know why I did that one, but and I also serve on several boards. I'm on the National Retiree Board that meets in Washington, D.C. 3 or 4 times a year, and I think that I would have something to offer the board, and I'm really looking forward. And I would like to thank you all for this opportunity, and if you have any questions, I'm glad to answer any.
Questions from the committee?
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you. Okay, next, the Employment Relations Board, Adam Reinhard.
Thank you, Chair Burdick and Senators. My name is Adam Reinhard. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I'm honored to be nominated to be reappointed as the public member of the Employment Relations Board, which is the agency that's charged with developing cooperative relationships between government and its employees and providing an efficient dispute resolution process in employment relations disputes throughout the state. I have approximately 16 years of experience in some form of labor and employment law, the most 11 being in public service, with 5 years at the Workers' Compensation Board as a review attorney, and the last 6 years as the public member of the Employment Relations Board. As a public member of the board, it's been my great privilege to serve alongside the management member and the labor member to efficiently provide dispute resolution services for our stakeholders. As the current chair of the board, I also oversee our conciliation services, which provides dispute mediation resolution services and training throughout the state of Oregon. I greatly appreciate the honor to be nominated to continue my public service at the board, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the committee? Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Next, Energy Facility Siting Council, Jordan Truitt.
Good morning, Madam Chair, fellow members of the committee. My name is Jordan Truitt. I'm here before you as a candidate for the Energy Facility Siting Council. It's a privilege to appear before you, and I thank you for your consideration. While my past experiences of note are contained within my application and my resume, which you may have reviewed, the underlying experiences of how I landed in this seat are, they still surprise me as well. So I'm a native Oregonian. I was born right here in Salem into a family of food processors going back 4 generations. I learned the ropes of the family business at a young age by being thrown into the mix deep in the bowels of our family's 100-plus-year-old production facility. At 16, I was forced to work hard enough to earn the respect from hundreds of people whom our family employed. From beginning my working days as a cannery green bean grader to earning a commercial driver's license for hauling canned goods around Salem, eventually harvesting 20,000 tons of green beans each summer. I've hauled crops from the Willamette Valley to local food processors. I grew dizzy harvesting endless circle of green beans in Hermiston. I've held up traffic while leading a convoy of harvesters through busy Salem streets. For those of you who have delayed, I'm somewhat apologetic about that. I've been in the grasp of financial struggle while sleeping in the backseat of a pickup truck during harvest, and I've soared high as a commercial pilot for charter operations. From deals made on paper to shaking the strong, weathered hands of Oregon's farmers to employing the hardworking people of our fine state, I've seen a lot. Most recently, I found myself back in that same cannery building, leading a workforce of up to 80 people, many of whom remember that same wide-eyed 16-year-old I once was. These were my people, teachers in life, and people who now looked up to me as their plant manager. I wouldn't trade these experiences for a thing. However, since starting a family, I've learned that life faces you with many tough decisions and questions, the most difficult of which has come from the school forums associated with my 3 young children. That question being, what does your daddy do for a living? And that's a very difficult question for me to answer because I really do not let the grass grow underneath my feet. In closing, the experiences of my past have led me here before you today. I hope the triumphs and failures of the years leading up to this point will provide a valuable addition to the team I hope to join. Thank you for your time and consideration of my candidate nomination to the Energy Facility Siting Council.
Thank you.
Can I just ask a question, Madam Chair?
Yeah, please
Thank you.
do.
So what is it that draws you to AppSec, Mr. Drew?
Pardon?
What is it that draws you to the, we call it AppSec, the Energy Facilities Siting Council?
You know, it's one of those where I've been in a position where I've made a lot of connections throughout the state, both here in the Valley and in the eastern portion of the state through agriculture, food production, et cetera. I've made a lot of contacts of these landowners within the regions that these projects might be positioned up into, and you know, being able to present it from a side of agriculture who may represent more of the side of the landowner or somebody in a different type of scenario would enable me to be able to participate. And I feel it's my duty to take an active role as a citizen. We all have opinions and thoughts on matters, but I choose to do a little bit more, and this was an opportunity that arose that I decided to jump at.
Well, you'll find yourself in the middle of some interesting controversies. I promise that.
I have no doubt.
A lot of technical reading.
The first packet is on my front porch, so.
Senator Boquist.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just remind you, when you're reading all of the technical stuff, remember that in the future, I preached this before prior to some of the colleagues here, I mean, we need to get diversified power sites, and big is not always better. Right. And so as you point out, you know, you might find places in some rural portion of Oregon where the siting of something strange and new that's still legal and environmentally sound might be better than building a mega one, you know, over in the eastern side or something along that line. And having, you know, fresh experience and a fresh view for that big stack of paperwork is actually a good idea on all committees. But thank you for volunteering.
Thank you. Other questions? Thank you. Okay, next we have the Fair Dismissal Appeals Board, Terrence Bennett.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair Burdick, senators. It's an honor to sit before you as a nominee for the Fair Dismissals Appeals Board. This year I entered my 32nd year in education. I have taught, coached, been an administrator. I've even driven a school bus across our state. For the past year and a half, I worked at the Oregon Department of Education implementing High School Success, or Measure 98. I'm very excited about our Student Success Act and what the transformation that's going to take place in our state. July 1st, I started as superintendent in North Douglas School District. I seek this appointment to continue my service at a state level, lending a voice from a small rural school perspective. I grew up mainly in La Grande. I understand, quote, the east side of the Cascade perspective. I actually was part of the first teaching staff that opened up the new North Lake School. That was in 1991. I lived in a trailer at Fort Rock, if we know where Fort Rock is, and helped build that interpretive center out there. I've shared with my colleagues at ODE that across our state there are more basically 1 and 2A classification high schools than there are the other 4 classifications in the state. My experience and perspective will be an asset to this appeals board, and I look forward to any questions you may have.
Thank you. Questions?
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the Public Employees Retirement Board, Jardon Carmio.
Madam Chair Burdick, members of the committee, senators, thank you for this opportunity. For the record, my name is Jardon Jaramillo. Senator Burdick, you did an excellent job. Thank you very much. I'm honored that I'm being considered for this role. It would be a privilege to serve the people of Oregon, to serve the employees, and to serve the family members who are served by the Public Employees Retirement System. My professional experience, for 8 years, I've worked for Portland General Electric, and in each capacity, the pension plan keeps sticking to me as I walk around. I began my career as senior investment analyst, working on the investment side of the plan, then spent 3 years as director of compensation and benefits, where I was the primary plan administrator. Now I serve as controller, managing disclosures and risks related to the plan. During that time, I've had the chance to serve in the community with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, with Metropolitan Family Services, with the Community Housing Fund. All of those have been an honor. This would be a continuation of that opportunity and duty to serve the people of Oregon. Why the PERS plan? Well, there's my professional experience, of course. This is strange, but I really enjoy pensions. They're complicated. Sometimes usually they involve hard choices. I enjoy the fact that they are a generations-long commitment. Philosophically, I think pensions, when they're done well and managed well, can serve the employees and the employer well in terms of creating the employee value proposition. And I look forward, if approved, to serving on this committee and continuing that tradition of strong fiduciary prudence in administering the plan.
Thank you. Questions?
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have by phone Richard Tovar from the Residential and Manufactured Structures Board. Hello, Mr. Tovar?
Yes.
Hi, this is Jenny Burdick. I'm chair of the Rules Committee. I'm joined by my committee members. Welcome. Please give your name for the record and a brief statement of why you'd like to serve.
Okay, my name is Rich Tovar, and I've been in the construction industry for 29 years, first as an electrician, and then I started my own business as Abaquai Electric in 2001. And then I am also the owner of Wind River Homes for the last 5 years, doing both. I see both sides of the I see both sides as a subcontractor and a builder. I would like to serve on the Residential and Manufactured Structures Board to help people, provide insight into our industry, and also advocate for my industry. It is a great honor to be considered for this.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the committee?
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, next we have the Oregon State Hospital Advisory Board, Hallie Reed, Kimberly Toma, and then we will take Jeff Reed by phone after the first two testify.
Yes.
Welcome.
Do you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair Burdick and Senators. My name is Kimberly Toma. I'm from Monmouth. I appreciate your consideration for my nomination for the Oregon State Hospital Advisory Board. I'm a Pacific Northwest native. I'm also an Aboriginal American. I've worked at the state hospital for 11 years, mostly on a unit that specialized in dialectic behavioral therapy. I've spent my life volunteering within the community with the goal of making Oregon better for the future generations, and I would like to continue that on the Oregon State Hospital Advisory Board. And thank you again for this opportunity to address you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, Chair Burdick and members of the committee. My name is Hallie Reed, and I'm a licensed occupational therapist who lives in Portland, Oregon. I've worked extensively in community mental health, most recently here in Oregon on the Early Assessment Support Alliance team, which is a program that specializes in serving young adults in this state that are suffering from psychotic illnesses. I am very passionate about servant leadership, evidence-based practice, and implementation of quality improvement models. And I feel as a clinician, it's important to give back to the way we serve those in our states and in the nation with mental health issues. And I'm very passionate about recovery and the role that hospital care can provide in the transition to the community. So I look forward to taking those passions to the State Hospital Advisory Board. And thank you for your time today, and I can answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. I think we'll leave you here and take our third one by phone and then open it for questions. Hello, is this Jeff Reed?
Yes, it is.
Hi, this is Ginny Burdick, Chair of the Senate Rules Committee. I'm joined by my committee members and two of the other nominees, Hallie Reed and Kimberly Toma.
Good morning.
So if you could just give your name and a brief statement of why you want to serve on this board.
Sure. My name is Jeff Reed, R-E-E-D. And first of all, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. And one little update to my resume, since the writing of it in February, I'm back involved with NAMI, Vice President of the Yamhill County affiliate. But one of the reasons I wanted to get involved, or maybe there's more than one, but with my experiences with owning and operating a home for men with mental disabilities, and have a son who's bipolar 1, who's been in and out of the system multiple times, I just recognize the need for treatment and resources for folks so that they're not repeating, going back into the system. They're getting some life skills and resources so they can function and hold a place in society. Not that they're ever going to be A students, but at least they're going to be able to be on their own out there with the help of some support services. And I guess my kind of follow-up with that is I just hope to make a difference. I know there's I've heard a lot of the stories about the hospital and those types of things, and there's enough of those types of things go around, but some of the research I've done, both on your website and talks to some other folks, there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of good things that come out of here, and I'd like to be a part of that.
Great. Well, thank you for your willingness to serve. Are there questions from the committee?
Thank you for all volunteering.
Thank you. Okay, next we have the Oregon Housing Stability Council, Barbara Higginbotham.
Good morning, Chair Burdick, Senators. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be a nominee for the Housing Stability Council. My name is Barb Higginbotham, and I am currently the executive director of a nonprofit organization called Communities in Action. That organization helps low-income residents in Harney and Malheur counties. I am a lifelong resident of Ontario, Oregon. I've lived mostly on farms and most recently moved into town, so that's my new claim to fame. Prior to that, I was the Regional Operations Manager for the State of Oregon Employment Department, serving Eastern Oregon. I did that for 10 years. Prior to that, I was the Deputy Director for the State of Idaho Guarantee Agency that managed the Title IV aid programs for the state of Idaho. I have been in some type of service for more than 30 years. I represent small towns. I hope to bring that experience and that knowledge to the Housing Stability Council and really look forward to working with them to establish policies that will help our most vulnerable populations. I think, as you know, we're in a crisis when it comes to homeless people in our state. And that and our lack of housing has really put us in a bad situation. So I would like to do everything that I can to address those issues and help the Housing Stability Council make some good decisions and move forward. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for volunteering.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions? No questions. Okay. Commission on Judicial Fitness and Disability, Karen Goodfriend and Jeremy Kenny.
We haven't met yet.
You don't have a quorum, don't worry.
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Jeremy Wilson Kenny, and I'm honored to be a nominee for the Commission on Judicial Fitness and Disability. I'm a clinical psychologist, certified forensic evaluator in Oregon. I've lived in Oregon since 2007. I live in Lake Oswego with my wife and 4 children currently. Through the course of my work, I'm commonly called upon to act as an expert witness in front of judges and serve the courts. And I believe that because of my training and expertise and experience, I could be particularly use on this commission. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Chair Burdick and senators and members of the committee. My name is Karen Goodfriend, and I'm a resident of the city of Portland and a nominee for the as a public member for the Commission on Judicial Fairness and Disability. I'd like to first start by thanking you for your time and for this opportunity to meet with you. I believe you received my resume and some other background information, so instead I'll be giving my elevator pitch. I have the ability to take all I've experienced and all that I've learned and applied it to this opportunity. I've lived overseas being a foreigner and for the first time really understood what this country has to offer. As an architect, I've been able to give back to my community through work such as Crater Lake National Park and the lodge there. I've been amazed over again by the generosity of people and with their time and money while volunteering with the Oregon Humane Society. With Cycle Oregon, I've cycled through a great portion of the state and met people from the smallest and most remote parts of the state. As a project manager for a manufacturing company in Clackamas, I have the opportunity to work with diverse teams, guiding them towards a common goal of creating and producing products of which we all can be proud. And finally, I'm getting a look at what it means to grow old in our community by caring for my parents and seeing the difficulties of everyday life through their eyes. And I've learned through all these experiences that empathy and trust play a key role in the quality of our lives and how we live with one another. The Commission on Judicial Fairness and Disability is in place to preserve fairness and equality in our judicial system. From my personal and professional experiences, I'm able to offer the Commission an ability to work with diverse groups and viewpoints, the practice of critical thought, a passion for fairness, and great organizational skills. With that and a heartfelt desire to put those skills to use serving my state, I ask that you consider my application as a public member for the Commission on Judicial Fairness and Disability. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Which Cycle Oregons were you on?
I did about 6 of them. Yeah, so I think most memorable was probably Harney County.
Which one? Which number was that?
Oh, I don't remember the numbers.
I did 5, 6, 16, and 17.
It was during 9/11, actually. So we were out in Harney County when we got the news. And that was a very surreal experience, I have to say.
Yeah, for sure. Questions from the committee? Maybe relevant questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, long-term care ombudsman, Fred Steele.
Chair Burdick and members of the committee, my name is Fred Steele, and it's exactly 4 years ago today I started as the State Long-Term Care Ombudsman and Agency Director for the Office of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman. The statutory structure of the position is it's a 4-year appointment, so here I am again today as I was 4 years ago, and appreciate your consideration. Very much looking forward to continuing the work that I've been fortunate to be a part of and to lead in the last 4 years, and looking forward. The program with the legislature awarding us 3 new positions for the long-term care ombudsman program, which then turns into about 90 to 100 more volunteers. We are a volunteer-based agency. It's a privilege to work with the volunteers, many of your constituents in your communities who are there on the ground advocating for Oregonians in care facilities, making sure that their rights are upheld, quality of care and quality of life are ensured for those individuals. But just as, the default component of being the state long-term care ombudsman and agency director is getting to oversee the 2 other programs that the legislature in 2013 and 2014 added to our agency with the residential facilities ombudsman program and the Oregon Public Guardian program, and very much appreciate the opportunity to continue the work of those 3 programs and all that we do for Oregonians. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Questions from the committee? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Oregon State Board of Nursing, Judith Woodruff. That's a familiar name. Do people call you the fake news very often?
No, actually, but we are distantly related.
Okay.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Senate Rules Committee. I'm member of the Rules Committee. I'm honored to be considered for the public member.
Would you give your name for the
I'm sorry,
record?
I'm Judith Woodruff. I am honored to be considered for the public member position of the Oregon State Board of Nursing. I have a background in regulatory oversight, administrative law, nursing education, nursing workforce development, and health policy. I'm not a nurse, but I speak their language. I was a practicing attorney for 10 years, including time as an administrative law judge, and I also was with the Attorney General's Office Charitable Activities Division of the Civil Enforcement Division. For 12 years, I was the Senior Program Director at the Northwest Health Foundation and spent the majority of that time working on healthcare workforce issues, especially nursing. In that position, I was also involved in Oregon health policy issues, particularly as they related to the healthcare workforce. I believe that the last time I testified in this building was in support of the dental therapy pilot program. I was a consultant to foundations and nonprofits for 5 years and most recently became the development director for the Oregon Nurses Foundation. I am the chair of the advisory committee of the Immigrant Nurse Credentialing Project, a reentry program for internationally trained nurses to return to the workforce. Additionally, I serve on the Jonas Foundation Nursing and Veterans Healthcare Advisory Board, which is a national program designed to increase the number of PhD prepared nurses. And thank you for your consideration, and I'm open to questions.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Oregon Patient Safety Commission Board of Directors, Jessica Russell Morris. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair Burdick, Senators. My name is Jessica Morris, pronouns she, her, hers, and I'm honored to be a nominee of the Healthcare Consumer seat of the Oregon Patient Safety Commission. I've served as the Director of Human Resources with Meals on Wheels people in Portland, Oregon since 2010. We serve Multnomah, Washington, and Clark counties. I've also directed the Meals for Kids program since 2014, providing nutritious meals to children and their families within the city of Portland. I have volunteered with Stevenson Elementary and Peninsula Elementary Schools and was the chair of their book harvest. I have served as on the Elder Advocacy Coalition and Child and Family Food Security Coalition and Multnomah County's Summer Meal Coalition. I was raised in Yachats, Oregon, the gem of the Oregon coast. I've been in Portland, Oregon since 2000. I am married to Ray Morris. I have 3 lovely children. I am also the daughter of 2 aging parents who are still very vibrant as well. I'm a first-generation college graduate. I completed my BBA in Human Resources at age 30 while working full-time. As an HR professional, I have built benefit plans for employees that promote access to preventative health care, mental health services, and disability services. Personally, I spent many, many hours at OHSU with my younger brother before he passed of sarcoma cancer for all of his treatments during his remission, and then again for even more treatments. I believe that healthcare and safety in healthcare is a right for all, and I also, pretty much as food is, my passion is food security as well. I've experienced firsthand the comforting effect of being able to access and receive healthcare services, and I've also experienced and witnessed the frustration that occurs when a person does not have access to necessary services. I am compassionate, I am collaborative, and I am an optimistic problem solver. And I look forward to serving if my nomination is confirmed. Thank you so much for your time. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Thank you very much. Okay, Board of Trustees of Portland State University, Yves Labissiere, Dr. Judith Vermely, Elisa Sablin, and Edgar Van Valkenburg. Edgar.
Sorry.
Who knew? Welcome.
Morning, Chair Burdick, members of the committee. My name is Yves Labissiere. I'm a faculty member in the School of Public Health at Portland State University. I am honored to be nominated to serve on the Board of Trustees for Portland State. I a brief statement. In Teaching to Transgress, it's a text by Bell Hooks. She writes about education as a practice of freedom. And she says that the purpose of education and teaching as a practice of, she believes that that education must serve and provide students full access to tools like critical thinking and information that will help them think critically and be able to make informed decisions about their lives. This way of thinking about education has been the cornerstone of how I think about my role at Portland State. I am proud to be a faculty member at Portland State, an institution. I came to Portland State because of its motto of let knowledge serve the city. And I have been proud to be involved in a community of people that place that ethic at the core of what they do on a daily basis. I spent the formative years of my life under Francois Duvalier. He was a dictator in Haiti. And I became, through that experience, acutely aware of systems and structures that stifle individual expression and reinforce oppressive practices. In Haiti, the teachers and the schooling practices, they were the conduits of authority and control and moral leadership of the state, the church. They were not about practicing inquiry and critical thinking. Those years and experiences instilled in me this lifelong commitment to social justice and personal empowerment. And that's the ethic that I've been able to practice. This is my 23rd year at the university. I'm honored to be here with my inspiration, Judith Vermely, who actually recruited us at the university. It is this ethic that with which I hope to engage the Board of Trustees to help create the context for doing precisely that, to providing empowering educational opportunities to all of the residents of Oregon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'll go next since I've been mentioned.
That's right. Do you think you've done good?
You betcha. Chair Burdick, members of the committee, I am honored to be here today. My name is Judith Vermely. I am a candidate also for the Portland State University Board of Trustees. I can't even begin to tell you what that means to me. I was president at Portland State from 1990 to 97, left the state and led two other universities, spent time as a senior officer at the National Science Foundation and National Academy of Sciences, but I always longed to return. Oregon has my heart. I wasn't born here, but I got here as fast as I could. And I came back in 2012. I have now the opportunity to serve Oregon again, if you so wish, and it means everything. It brings together everything my career has meant in one beautiful capstone. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Who's next?
Hi, good morning, afternoon, Chair Burdick and committee members. My name is Elisa Sablon, and I live in Beaverton, and I'm here today as a nominee to the Portland State University Board of Trustees. I've been with the university since 2005, first in the business office, and currently the office coordinator for the Department of Chemistry. My time in the business office gave me insight to the university's day-to-day financial operations, including fiduciary responsibility, accountability, and transparency. As the office coordinator of the Department of Chemistry, I have daily interactions with campus visitors, prospective and current students, faculty members, and colleagues. These interactions, I feel, give me insight, unique insight to how the university policies and board decisions affect them. I feel my experience and knowledge has provided me with a better understanding of how to effectively and efficiently support our community, students, faculty, members, and staff. By taking an active role on the board, I hope to accurately and successfully represent their needs. I'm very honored to be here today. I want to thank Governor Brown for her nomination, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. You can pass that over to Edgar here.
Chair Burdick, committee members, son. My name is Wally Van Valkenburg. My legal name is Edgar Van Valkenburg. I'm an attorney and I live and work in Portland. I'm honored to have been nominated by Governor Brown to serve on the Portland State University Board of Trustees. Having spent most of my professional career in Portland, I understand the importance of having a high-quality public university in our state's largest metro region. Since 2013, I've served as a trustee for the PSU Foundation, which is a separate nonprofit organization charged with helping to raise philanthropic support for the university. I recently completed a 2-year term as chair of that board. During my time as a foundation trustee, I've had the good fortune to learn a lot about PSU and the important functions it performs for our community and for our state. Not only do PSU graduates fill many key jobs for our employers, but the university also provides opportunities for economic advancement, particularly for students who come from less advantaged communities. I've seen that PSU plays a key role not only in helping us achieve economic prosperity, but also in helping ensure that prosperity is shared more broadly and fairly within our community and across the state. I've also become familiar with the challenges the university faces, as well as the challenges many of our students face as they seek to complete their degrees. I've been inspired by the courage, determination, and resilience these students demonstrate year in and year out. It would be an honor for me to be a part of the university's ongoing efforts to help ensure that these students have what they need to fulfill their hopes and dreams. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. And Dr. Romeli, I saw that you used the word capstone in your testimony. I believe you were the founder of that program at PSU and one of many visionary reforms you brought to the university. And
thank you.
We are deeply in your debt for your accomplishments while you were there.
Thank you.
Questions from the committee?
Thank you for all volunteering.
Thank you very much. Okay, Board of Trustees of Oregon Institute of Technology, Dana London, by phone. Hello?
Hi.
Hi, Ms. London, this is Jenny Burdick. I'm chair of the Senate Rules Committee, and I'm joined by our committee members here. If you could give your name and a brief statement about why you want to serve on this board.
Thank you, Chair Burdick and members of the committee. My name is Dana London. I am excited and honored to be a nominee for Student Trustees for Oregon Tech. I find this institute of higher education to go above and beyond for its students and faculty members by creating an inclusive and welcoming environment where education can thrive. To serve as student trustee would be my opportunity to support and give back to a community that I believe thoroughly deserves it. For a little about myself and background information, I served 6 years in the Navy as a combat air crewman. I received an associate's in pre-nursing prior to transferring to Oregon Tech. I'm currently a senior in the geomatics program, majoring in land surveying with a minor in GIS. I'm the treasurer of the Geomatics Club, a member of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, as well as a member of the Student Hearing Commission. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much for your willingness to serve. Are there questions from the committee? Seeing no questions, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, State Board of Licensed Social Workers, Melissa Jansen. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Chair Burdick and committee. My name is Melissa Jansen, but everyone calls me Molly. I've been a licensed clinical social worker here in Oregon since 2014 and received my master's in social work from Portland State University in 1998. Since then, I've had a wide range of opportunities to practice social work here in Oregon, everything from medical social work in hospital settings to emergency rooms, adoption, community mental health, juvenile justice, and nonprofits that serve houseless youth. Most recently, I've been employed by Portland State University's School of Social Work. I spent the first few years as a trainer and consultant to Oregon self-sufficiency programs until 2 years ago, and then I took my current position. I'm currently an assistant professor of practice in the School of Social Work. I teach part-time, and I coordinate our fairly brand new BSW hybrid option that serves the entire state. I also have a private practice where I provide individual therapy from preteens through adults. I'm a volunteer provider with the Returning Veterans Project, which is a nonprofit that serves post-9/11 veterans and their families. I provide licensure, supervision, training, and consultation to social service agencies, and I'm also currently the clinical consult for Marion County's juvenile court for about the last 2 years. This opportunity is simply an extension to serve, as far as I'm concerned. It reflects my personal and professional values. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Questions from the committee?
Well, thank you for volunteering.
Thank you. Okay, State Library Board, Benjamin Tate.
Good morning, Chair Burdick, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Ben Tate from Salem, Oregon, and I thank you for considering my nomination to the State Library Board. For the last 18 years, I've served within public service in a variety of capacities, all within the information technology area. The last 8 of those within education. And in one of those previous jobs, I had the opportunity to work with the State Library and helped them develop a strategic plan for their IT and an IT governance model. So when they approached me about the possibility of serving on the board, they are in the process of developing a new strategic plan, a new technology plan, and I was excited to have the opportunity to help them with that. So I thank you for your consideration. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the committee?
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you very much. Okay, Teachers Standards and Practices Commission by phone, Dr. Ray Etta Newman. Hello, Dr. Newman?
Yes, hi, good afternoon.
Hi, this is Jenny Burdick. I'm chair of the Rules Committee, and I'm joined by our committee members. Welcome. Please give your name and why you would like to serve on this board.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Burdick and participating senators from the Rules Committee for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you today via the telephone. My name is Rayette Newman, and I am seeking a role on the Teacher Standards and Practices Commission. I consider serving on the Teacher Standards and Practices Commission as a representative of the public higher education institutions as an opportunity to serve my state and the P-12 students within. I have been in education for the last 15 years, but I've known far before this that I wanted to be an educator ever since my elementary days in Wisconsin, where I took the opportunity to use all the snow days as my days to teach my dolls, stuffed animals, or anything or anyone willing to play. During my educational experience, I have been able to witness and benefit from high-quality educators, and I wanted to make sure I had the same impact on children. As an elementary school teacher, both working with children with exceptionalities and typically developing children, I was able to impact those students in my classroom and those I interacted with my own school. However, I knew I wanted to have a greater impact, so I pursued my career in teacher education. Over my career in teacher education in Oregon, I have witnessed and participated in the steps Oregon has taken to ensure high quality standards from all educators. With this opportunity to serve as a commissioner, I will work for all P-12 students within the state of Oregon. I come with a unique perspective, having worked in both urban and rural areas, with children of varying abilities, as a P-12 public school educator, as an educator in teacher preparation programs at both the undergraduate and graduate levels, as the chair of the College of Education at Eastern Oregon University, and most importantly, a parent and neighbor of children attending schools in Oregon. I am committed to continuing improving the preparation and expectations of the individuals working with Oregon's children. So thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this afternoon and express my desire for serving as a commissioner on the Teacher Practices and Standards Commission.
Thank you very much. Questions from the committee?
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you. No questions. All right, thank you. Next, we have the Board of Trustees of the University of Oregon, Elisa Hornecker.
Chair Burdick and committee, my name is Elisa DeCastro Hornecker, and I'm honored to be here as a nominee for an at-large position for the University of Oregon's Board of Trustees. I'm passionate about our state and believe the excellence of our universities are linked to the economic success, livability, and social well-being of the entire state. I live in Portland, but I am a lifelong Oregonian. I have deep roots at the university. I graduated from the U of O, as did my husband and my son, and hopefully this spring our daughter will graduate from there as well. I have seen the advantages of a high-quality education and what it provides students as a tool for their future success, both economically and personally, which in turn I believe benefits the state. I also believe our universities must be inclusive, accessible, and affordable to our students. I served on the Board of Trustees for the University of Oregon Foundation. That gave me a deeper understanding of the challenges facing not only the University of Oregon, but all our public universities. This opportunity, together with my finance background and personal experiences at the university, I feel provide me with a strong base of knowledge beneficial to the governing board. I believe in student success, and I would be honored to serve the University of Oregon, its students, its faculty, and the state of Oregon in this manner. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Questions from the committee?
No, thank you for volunteering.
Thank you. We have two people signed up to testify on this board, Avinash Tiwari and Bill Harbaugh. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Chair Burdick and members of the committee. My name is Avinash Tiwari. I'm a faculty member at the University of Oregon, as well as the political chair of United Academics at U of O. We are writing regarding today's confirmation vote of a new member of the Board of Trustees of the University of Oregon. Unfortunately, at no point during this nomination process have faculty, staff, students, or most administrators had an opportunity to learn about this candidate, much less offer input on who would best serve the University of Oregon and the state of Oregon. We ask you to hold off on voting for this particular candidate until the campus community has had a chance to learn more about the candidate, their qualifications, and their knowledge of important matters that are sure to impact our campus in the next few years. We understand that providing public comments regarding the appointment of a trustee for the U of O's board is highly unusual. Our comments are not about the candidate, as unfortunately we know nothing about them. There was no notice of a vacancy on the UO trustees website of a vacancy, nor was a call for nominations made to the campus community. We have made public records requests to UO Board Secretary Angela Wilhelms and to Governor Brown's office for information about this nomination and have begun to receive some communication. The best way for the state to ensure that public resources for higher education go towards Oregonian students is to appoint trustees who prioritize student success and affordable tuition over non-academic infrastructure projects and administrator pay. Since the establishment of the UO board, in-state tuition has increased by 28%, including 7% most recently last year for the latest biennium. And new athletics, administrative, and residential facilities have gone up around campus, but no new classroom buildings have been constructed. We have made previous attempts to work with the administration, the board, and the governor's office to create a more inclusive process for trustee appointments, as is common at the other Oregon public universities. And so we are here today to ask the Oregon Senate to delay this particular appointment so that we have time to work with the governor and our administration to ensure this appointment will advance the mission and goals of the University of Oregon. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
So I'm Bill.
Step back from the microphone. They're pretty sensitive.
I'm Bill Harbaugh. I'm a professor of economics at the university. I'm the immediate past president of the University Senate, which is an elected body of students, faculty, staff. And so I'm not speaking for the Senate as a whole, but I'm speaking as the immediate past president. And there have been, I can think of at least 3 of the most recent board appointments where the Senate has been cut out of the process. We've made efforts to recruit people for the board, but to be honest, it's difficult when the current board comes up with its own, most preferred candidate before we have a chance to try to do the recruiting ourselves. I believe that ASU, our student government, has had the same sorts of issues with its student appointee to the board. So as Avinash said, I mean, our goal here, we don't have any specific objections about this candidate. We only got the information that was her application, I think, on Friday. And after we sent the letter to you, we haven't got any other information. And we really would like for you to step back and give us a chance to work with the board. This is the board hires the president of the university. I think it's untoward for the board, for the president to have so much influence in choosing the people who will be setting his own pay, evaluating him. We need more independence, and the way to do that is to have more outreach to the community before these appointments are made.
Thank you. Questions from the committee?
I don't have a question, Madam Chair, but I do want to say that as just true confessions, I was probably as responsible as anyone in this body for the system of higher education that we have now, the new governance structure. And, I do think that, at this late date, I think it's appropriate for this appointment to go forward. But I do think that we should look at the process by which candidates are nominated and vetted, et cetera, on our campuses. I think it was within the spirit of those of us who helped create this new system that there would be more participation on the campuses. And if that's not happening, we do need to look at that. And I'll commit to doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, everyone.
Other questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have the Oregon Volunteers Commission for Voluntary Action and Service, Nathan Ricks.
Good afternoon, Chair Burdick, members of the committee. My name is Nathan Ricks, spelled R-I-X, and I live in Portland, Oregon. My wonderful spouse, Kristen, of 3 years, and I'm being nominated for the Board of Directors of the Oregon Volunteers Commission for Voluntary Action and Service. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree from Pepperdine University, a Master of Science in Leadership from City College of New York, and a Master of Public Policy from the University of Michigan. And my passion is improving government and building community capacity for volunteerism. I currently serve as the Director of Executive Projects at the Department of Human Services here in Salem. And it was through an AmeriCorps grant that I was afforded the opportunity to study leadership at the City College of New York and served as a 2008 Corps member with Teach for America in the Bronx, teaching special education. And it's from that place and passion that I want to give back and serve on this board to build more community capacity for volunteers across all Oregon communities. If you have any questions, happy to answer those.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee? Thank you very much.
Thank you for serving.
Thank you.
Next, we have the Home Care Commission. By phone, we have Mark King. Mr. King?
Yes, yes.
This is Ginny Burdick. I'm Chair of the Senate Rules Committee, and I'm joined by my committee members. Welcome, and please give your name and a brief statement about why you want to serve on the Home Care Commission.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Mark King, and I've been disabled for 39 years. I would like to be on the Oregon Home Care Commission. Again, I was on it from 2010 until 2016. I would like to use my disability knowledge I've acquired throughout many years to help disabled people, home care workers. I would like to do advocacy work for people who need it. I have lots of experience being disabled, and I'd like to learn to continue.
Thank you very much, and I remember your appointment before because I've been a member of the Rules Committee for quite a while. Thank you for being willing to sign up again.
Yeah, I would just add to that, Madam Chair. You were on the board during the time of some very important changes and really appreciated your tenure during that time, Mr. King.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other questions from the committee?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being willing to serve again. Okay.
My pleasure, my honor.
Next, we have the Workers' Compensation Board, Constance Wold. Welcome.
Good morning. It's good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chair Burdick, members of the committee. My name's Constance Wold, and I'm here today honored to be renominated for reappointment as the public member and chairperson of Oregon's Workers' Compensation Board. As you know, the board's an independent agency which shares administrative services with the Department of Consumer and Business Services, and the role of the board chair is dual, both administrative and deciding cases. You have my bio and resume. I was born here in Salem. I'd like to compare pig tickets with Mr. Pruitt. I'm not sure who would win. I also picked beans in the summers, et cetera. Worked a lot of different jobs, which really served me well. I became rather steeped in workers' comp law, as that was my specialty as an attorney in private practice, about half my career representing employers and insurers and about half representing injured workers. My statement of interest highlights some of the accomplishments and activities of the last 2 years since my initial appointment. We're very proud of our mission at the Workers' Compensation Board of deciding cases in a timely and impartial manner. And I would really be honored if I could continue to serve the state of Oregon and advance the mission of the agency. Thank you. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you. Questions from the committee?
No, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, State Workforce and Talent Development Board, Lauren Corbett. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair Burdick and Senators. My name is Lauren Corbett, and I'm an alumni of the University of Oregon and Portland resident ever since. I am very hopeful to be your selection to serve on the Workforce and Talent Development Board. I first became aware of the board's mission and work through the Building Oregon's Healthcare Talent Pipeline, conference where I represented the talent acquisition department for Providence Health and Services. I have never been so inspired by a conference. Seeing employers across the state come together to proactively address solutions to upskilling Oregonians to increase their economic success while simultaneously pipelining for hard-to-fill positions is exactly the kind of problem I want to solve and am uniquely positioned for. As a professional recruiter, first for Express Employment, a temporary staffing agency in Hillsborough, and then Providence Health and Services, recruiting for healthcare and associated information technologies, and now currently for Adidas, I truly understand the demands of the employer-employee marketplace. At Providence, I was responsible for leading and executing their first ever veteran career fair. I recognize that many veterans were unaware of how to relate their experience to appeal to the commercial community, and yet here was a pool of some of the best trained, disciplined, and motivated talent in existence. Bringing veterans and active servicemen and women and managers alongside recruiters and other educators and networking communities earned us the Pro Patria Award from the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve. I am deeply passionate about this work and hope to bring the same creativity and tenacity to help drive for results for Oregonians and further the important work of the Workforce and Talent Development Board. I look forward to the opportunity and consider it an honor to have been nominated and would be pleased to answer any questions the Rules Committee may have.
Questions from the committee?
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Okay, last one, Behavior Analysis Regulatory Board. By phone, Dr. Marie McMahon. Hello, Dr. McMahon?
Yes, hello.
Hi, this is Jenny Burdick. I'm chair of the Rules Committee, and I'm joined by my fellow committee members. So if you could just give your name and a brief statement about why you would like to serve on this board.
Very good. Thank you, Chair Burdick and members of the Senate Committee. My name is Marie McMahon, and I'm from Portland, Oregon. I've been a licensed psychologist in Oregon for 16 years, and I've worked with children with autism for more than 20 years. I'm seeking appointment to the Behavior Analysis Regulatory Board so I can continue to serve these families at a state level. And I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Are there questions from the committee?
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our public hearing. And so now I'm going to open a work session and move the following appointments and reappointments to the following positions, boards, and commissions to the Senate floor with the recommendation that they be confirmed en bloc. Sophorn Chiang as Director of Affirmative Action, Eric Gerhardt to the Appraiser Certification and Licensure Board, Brenna Lagarde, Marie McMahon, Samantha Parnham, and Corey Stump to the Behavior Analysis Regulatory Board, Christy Clausen to the Commission for the Blind, Chris Chapman, Clayton Reese, and Grant Smith to the State Board of Denture Technology, Christine Morales to the State Board of Direct Entry Midwifery, Jennifer Skurlock and Bridget Wheeler to the State Board of Education, Jeffrey Brown, Bonita Luisi, and Jonian Schofield to the Oregon Educators Benefit Board, Adam Reinhard to the Employment Relations Board, Jordan Truitt to the Energy Facility Siting Council, Gregory Addington and Molly Kyle to the Environmental Quality Commission, Terrence Bennett to the Fair Dismissal Appeals Board, Mark King to the Home Care Commission, Hallie Reed, Jeff Reed, and Kimberly Toma to the Oregon State Hospital Advisory Board, Barbara Higginbotham to the Oregon Housing Stability Council, Karen Goodfriend and Jeremy Kenny to the Commission on Judicial Fitness and Disability, Carolyn Alexander, Marcia Michaels, and Amy Reese to the Oregon Board of Licensed Professional Counselors and Therapists, Amy Brown, Maggie Helty, and Catherine Kalanich to the Long-Term Care Administrators Board, Fred Steele as the Long-Term Care Ombudsman, Julie Wilcox to the Oregon State Lottery Commission, Ellen Voss to the Board of Medical Imaging, Judith Woodruff to the Oregon State Board of Nursing, Dana London to the Board of Trustees of Oregon Institute of Technology, Hester Carr, Leah Mitchell, and Jessica Russell Morris to the Oregon Patient Safety Commission Board of Directors, Yves Labissiere, Judith Romelli, Elisa Seblan, and Edgar Van Valkenburg to the Board of Trustees of Portland State University, Jardon Jaramillo to the Public Employees Retirement Board, Samuel Henry to the Quality Education Commission, Richard Fry, Douglas Lethen, and Richard Tovar to the Residential and Manufactured Structures Board, James Hulse to the Respiratory Therapist and Polysomnographic Technologist Licensing Board, Melissa Jansen to the State Board of Licensed Social Workers, Benjamin Tate to the State Library Board, Stephanie Compton and Stephanie Gardiepi to the State Board of Tax Practitioners, Ray Etta Newman to the Teachers Standards and Practices Commission, Elisa Hornecker to the Board of Trustees of the University of Oregon, Emilio DeBest to the Oregon State Veterinary Medical Examining Board, Nathan Ricks to the Oregon Volunteers Commission for Voluntary Action and Service, Gary Marshall to the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board, Constant Wald to the Workers' Compensation Board, Lauren Corbett and Kenneth Madden to the State Workforce Talent Development Board. Is there any discussion?
Ma'am?
Yes.
I would just comment that, I mean, these are all exceptionally qualified individuals. We should be grateful that they've volunteered to serve the state of Oregon. And I just, on the record, joined Senator Dembro that potentially one of the agencies is not as transparent, as forthright, should not be a reflection on any of these individuals, and that's an issue we can take up separately.
Correct. Thank you for reinforcing that. Okay. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the motion passes. Okay, that's it. Thank you all for serving. We are adjourned.
Somebody.